got a gold jacket in his wardrobe for the first time in his life. And it turns out that color looks rather sharp on Shannon Sharpe.
I kind of like my gold in coins of bullion, but I'm going to make a case this time, kids, for this jacket.
The jacket itself, size 50 extra long, is nothing extraordinary. But what it represents is
to have my brother on that stage with me, and when they give me that jacket, and to have him stand up and to help me put that jacket on, it probably would mean more to me than me actually having the jacket on, because I know what we've gone through as brothers.
Sharpe now owns 3 Super Bowl championship rings and 1 Gold Hall of Fame jacket. And it might surprise you which he's more proud of.
Coat. The coat, because here's the thing. They've only given out 267 of these gold jackets. They've given out 1 million probably of those Super Bowl rings.
Shannon doesn't normally wear the same outfit 2 days in a row, but he'll have to make an exception. That gold jacket is required attire at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. In Canton, Ohio, Drew Soicher, 9 News.
9 News sports anchor Drew Soicher is live in Canton, Ohio. Hi, Drew.
Hey guys, Sharpe won't officially be inducted for another hour or so, but he's already been taken for quite a ride today on the annual Hall of Fame parade. How are you enjoying the parade so far?
Man, I'm enjoying this. I see some of my friends and families up here. I get to share this moment with my brother, my family behind me. This is great. It reminds me of the parade. We won the Super Bowl in Denver. Man, this is unbelievable, man. I'm having the time of my life.
For the speech tonight?
I'm ready. I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be. It's not going to get any longer. It's not going to get any shorter, and it's not going to get any better. I'm prepared. I'm ready.
More than 200,000 people lined the streets for this morning's parade. Coming up a bit later in this newscast, Sharpe takes us inside his notepad and pen and shares a few secrets about tonight's induction speech. We're live at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. I'm Drew Soicher.
Drew Soicher is live in Canton, Ohio to witness history firsthand. Drew.
Hey Rod, Sharpe's biggest challenge tonight will be brevity. He only has 10 minutes on stage and wants to speak very eloquently about his grandmother, Mary Porter, who raised him in poverty in Glenville, Georgia, and passed away exactly 1 month ago today. He's received the prestigious gold jacket and taken a ride in the annual Hall of Fame parade. All that's left now is for Shannon Sharpe to deliver his induction speech.
Started probably working on it when I was about 7 years old. The speech really kind of wrote itself. I've always had an idea if this were to ever happen, what I would want to say. I've always had an idea of the people I would want to thank.
Sharpe's one of the most colorful and quotable characters in NFL history.
We need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Patriots.
But this isn't your basic, ordinary speech.
You're obviously extremely comfortable talking publicly now and during your career. Were you always that way? In school, could you go in front of a class and do a book report?
Me and books didn't do very well in school.
Shannon's already had a pretty emotional weekend and doesn't plan on holding anything back tonight.
All the guys they're betting against me. I'm going to be the first. The only thing that I have working in my favor is that I'm going last. I'm almost certain somebody before me is going to cry, but I'm the guy that the guys are wagering on to make sure that I'm going to lose it.
The 7 Hall of Fame enshrinees are being called to the stage in alphabetical order, which means Shannon Sharpe is the final speaker following Deion Sanders. We're live at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. I'm Drew Soicher.
Drew Soicher joins us live from Canton, Ohio, where tonight the tight end joined the best of the best. Drew.
Yes, he did, Rod. When Shannon Sharpe took the stage tonight, he was given 10 minutes to deliver his Hall of Fame induction speech. 26 minutes and 49 seconds later, Sharpe had thanked every person he ever came in contact with, especially his big brother, Sterling.
I'm the only player of 267 men that's walked through this building to my left that can honestly say this. I'm the only pro football player that's in the Hall of Fame, and I'm the second best player in my own family. Sterling, you're my hero, my father figure, my role model. You taught me everything I know about sports and a lot about life. I never once lived in your shadow. I embraced it. When he put that jacket on me last night, there's 2 people in this world knew what we were thinking. There were 2 people in this world knew what we felt at that very moment. And we felt it at the very same time. I wanted to be so much like my brother that when I went to college, my brother's first college girlfriend, when I went to college, my first college girlfriend looked exactly like his.
Most amazing thing about Sharpe's Hall of Fame induction is that his bronze bust has its mouth closed. Very unusual. We're live at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. I'm Drew Soicher. He's got all the souvenirs from his first Super Bowl spread across the dining room table at his Aurora home, but Kent Payne didn't use that ticket because he had a much closer view of the game, right on the field, working as one of the Super Bowl officials.
How cool was that?
It was cool. I mean, it was really cool. It was just the experience of a lifetime, and it was so neat to wake up on Sunday and think, this is really Super Bowl Sunday. And
as a result of being the highest rated official at his position this season, Payne, the head linesman, number 79, was chosen to work Sunday's game between the Packers and Steelers. It's the highest honor in his profession.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was nervous. I mean, I was probably more nervous the days before leading up to it, at night. Maybe once in a while wake up thinking, don't make a bad call and, be part of Super Bowl history or something for that. But I think once Sunday came, the excitement took over the nervousness, and I really wasn't nervous on Sunday, just ready to go. And
Kent's been officiating in the National Football League for the past 7 years after working his way up from high school through college, the Arena League, and NFL Europe, and says the job is much more difficult than it looks.
If an average Joe was thrown into a NFL referee situation for one afternoon, how long would it take for him to look like an idiot?
Probably the kickoff. Maybe the coin toss, I don't know.
Super Bowl 45 was a relatively simple game to officiate. Payne called 6 penalties, stayed away from any controversy, and had a blast.
It was such a great experience, and so exciting to be involved in the Super Bowl that it's something that I think it's the goal of every NFL official. I mean, to do that, and I hope it's something I get to do again.
Payne's Super Bowl memorabilia includes a few items you can't purchase at a souvenir stand, like his game jersey, whistle, and penalty flag. The CU women's soccer team has an assistant coach this season who might look familiar if you used to watch a lot of TV.
Create a little window and hit it.
He's new to Colorado, but Chris Ganem has likely been in your living room before.
Bobby, why don't my raviolis have corners?
So this is the first one that I ever did.
That's you?
Yeah.
Ganem spent his childhood starring in television commercials.
So you'll be ready for all the fun and excitement of
It seems like a different lifetime ago, but when you look back on it, what a cool experience to have.
Where'd you get those super colors?
Chris appeared in 56 commercials from 1979 through 85, pitching products such as Play-Doh,
Play-Flow, Snake-Flow. You can make me Play-Doh.
Ragu spaghetti sauce,
And open your own pizzeria.
Ragu Pizza Quick Sauce for pizzeria good pizza.
and cheese puffs.
Those aren't Cheetos, Cheese Puffs.
My brother, who is older, and all of his friends, when this one went around, and it went around for a while, they started calling me Cheese Puff. So to the point, even my brother was 4 years older in high school, him and all his friends are calling me Cheese Puff. And even in my senior yearbook, my brother writes, "To Cheese Puff." So while it seemed there might be a lot of glory to being on TV, there was also a lot of ribbing that took place also.
It's not also glamorous.
No.
Not impressed yet? Well, how about this? That's Chris working alongside one of the greatest comedians of all time in the popular Jell-O pudding ads.
Yeah.
Look at you, right next to Bill Cosby.
Yeah. And I distinctly remember him doing all the Fat Albert voices in between takes. I definitely will never forget that. And I do not eat chocolate pudding to this day because I had so much during that commercial take.
After a cameo in a Nike Revolution commercial at age 11, Chris turned his focus to first playing and then coaching soccer.
Now defend right away!
And still draws upon his experience as a child actor.
You just have to be confident in what you're doing, and you have to believe in what you're saying, and you always have to be on. You know, there aren't a lot of second takes in sports, so you try to get it right the first time, or the rehearsal really of the practice of helping them get it right, so when the game comes or the time that it's ready for the final film, that it looks the way you want in rehearsal. So it's very similar, I guess.
And as a coach, you have to act sometimes to get your players' attention.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the whole thing. That's soccer.
Chris says he still watches TV commercials real carefully and gets very excited whenever he sees the little red-headed kid who took his spot,
Yeah.
The new cheese
The
puff,
new cheese puff.
if you will.
Yeah.
Longmont High School offensive lineman Justin Hansen will sign a national letter of intent with Colorado State tomorrow, and that's more remarkable than you might think. He's 6'5" and nearly 300 pounds, but that's not what makes Justin Hansen such an impressive recruit. Hansen earned all state honors despite the fact he's living with Asperger's syndrome, an extremely rare autism spectrum disorder which only 3 out of every 10,000 people have.
Creates small social issues or makes you a little bit awkward physically, and maybe mentally some things may be tougher to grasp with maybe schooling or things like jokes or whatnot. But as the years have gone by, I've learned to overcome these problems, and I think it's made me a lot better as a person.
Hansen was first diagnosed a decade ago as a second grader and wasn't quite sure how Asperger's would affect his athletic career. But he had it all backwards. As it turns out, Justin's athletic career affected his Asperger's.
Just playing sports helps. It lets you get to know a few people. And from there, you could work. I got to work on my social skills, talking with people, learning how to read facial cues. For example, I was really bad at that. Things like jokes, I kind of took a few of them literally at first, but it's trial and error. You learn to, what's right and what's wrong, and you learn how to work through all that.
A solid student with a 3.2 grade point average, Hansen plans to study business and information systems at CSU, and thinks in some ways Asperger's, considered a hidden disability, actually gives him an advantage.
The different way of thinking that Asperger's brings to people, it's neat. It gives you a different insight on things, and allows me to think differently and do differently, and possibilities and whatnot. So it's not entirely bad, I guess.
Hansen was a dominant force during his high school career and now hopes to do the same in college for the CSU Rams, who he picked over Washington, Utah, and Kansas State.
Coming into high school, I never did think I was going to college or anything. I just thought I was going to go out and just get a job, but through hard work and focus, things have changed.
A lot of kids are going to sign with colleges tomorrow, and all of them should be proud of themselves, but that one in particular is real easy to root for.
Yeah. All right, so the most difficult decision I remember making as a high school senior was which flavor to select from the Slurpee machine at 7-Eleven. A Mullen student athlete is having a much different experience. He just had to pick from among the most distinguished universities in America. No suspense for the big kid on National Signing Day because he had already announced his college intentions on the dry erase board in Mrs. Wakamoto's fourth period AP Physics class. Mullen right tackle Michael Mancinelli is going to Harvard.
Academics are #1 for me, and they always have been, as the rest of my life is really going to be centered around what I learn. So I'm looking forward to academics being the priority while football being a very, very close second. Oh, vectors, my friend.
Mancinelli chose Harvard, the oldest, most prestigious institution of higher learning in the United States, over two other outstanding Ivy League schools, Yale and Brown.
So the next 4 years, I'm expecting a lot of competition on the field as well as competition in the classroom, especially amongst the students that I'm going to be around at Harvard. It's going to be difficult, and I'm looking forward to accepting the challenge.
Mancinelli, number 66, earned all Colorado honors while helping lead the Mustangs to 3 consecutive state championships. He was also named Academic All-State. Mancinelli won 4 football varsity letters and was team captain his senior season. With a 4.3 grade point average, he's a 3-time member of the National Honor Society. No wonder Harvard wants him both in their stadium and in their classrooms.
Every time I meet a new person, the first thing they ask is, do you play football? And eventually we can get to my academics, and they're often very surprised, much more surprised than they are on my achievements on the field.
Michael's been called a jock and a nerd, and considers both compliments.
I would have to say that I'm proud of the fact that I'm both, because a lot of people only can be one. They can only excel on the field, but their academics they don't care about. Or on the other hand, all they do is sit in the room and study, and they don't have fun in their life. And I take a lot of pride in knowing that I can handle both, and I enjoy doing both and pushing myself in the classroom and on the field.
I think there's an outside chance, a remote possibility, that Michael Mancinelli is going to be successful in life.
Here's Drew Soicher.
Hi, everybody. My mother used to tell me that if I simply listened to her the first 100 times, she wouldn't have to scream at me the 101st. And now that's how I feel about this latest report that Carmelo Anthony has been given permission by the Nuggets to negotiate a contract extension with the New Jersey Nets, which, if an agreement is reached, would allow a gigantic trade to finally happen. He's not going to the New Jersey Nets! It makes absolutely no sense for Carmelo Anthony to leave the Nuggets in order to join one of the worst teams in the NBA.
This is brutal now.
Especially since the Nets would have to give up all their most valuable assets to get the All-Star.
Nice. Sabres from Lopez.
The Nets are willing to satisfy the Nuggets' demands of young, promising players and high draft picks, but they won't make a deal unless Anthony agrees to a long-term contract with them first. And he isn't gonna do it! Melo wants to play for the New York Knicks, and since he becomes a free agent at the end of this season, all he has to do is wait a few months to join that team. The Knicks know this, of course, and so they aren't going to offer anything of value to Denver. If the Nuggets are lucky, they'll find some sucker willing to rent Melo for a playoff run in exchange for 1 draft pick. If they're lucky. If not, they'll get nothing for the greatest player in franchise history. The only good part about all this is the fact that since the Nuggets are unable to trade Carmelo to the Nets, that 15-player blockbuster deal the two teams have been wasting their time discussing will fall through, and Chauncey Billups will stay in Denver where he belongs. He's not going to the Nets!
Just be happy it was me and not my mom screaming at you. She'd smack you in the face also.
Hey, this is cool. We're starting a new 9 News Sports exclusive. It's called Tiny 90. Each time we'll profile a special Colorado kid who's grabbing our attention at a very young age. The first Tiny 90 has muscles that aren't so tiny.
Eensy weensy teeny weeny tiny 90.
Ready to go! He's armed and dangerous, but mostly armed. 13-year-old Christian Bryant of Littleton is a national arm wrestling champion.
Lots of technique. People think it's all about strength and there's only one thing you can do, but it's all about the technique. But, you know, you still have to be strong. And
I saw your guns. You've got some strength, too.
Yeah, been working on my arms a long time.
Even though he's only a 7th grader, Christian's been arm wrestling for 6 years already and has earned a tough guy reputation.
All of my friends know, and like after going through a year at school with everybody knowing, now people just think it's the coolest thing that I can just beat anyone in the school.
So if some bully picked on you, you could say, hey, let's arm wrestle.
Yeah, I could do that.
Go! Christian's matches only usually last a second or two. Is it fun?
It is fun. It's a lot of adrenaline. Everybody thinks I'm so cool and nobody wants to mess with me, but it's a lot of fun.
Go!
Christian Bryant with a monster hit, and he takes the win.
My name is Christian Bryant, and I'm a tiny 90.
Hey, before we begin our new Knicks Pick segment, I thought you might like to meet the big, beautiful sea lion who's going to be predicting the outcome of Broncos games this season.
Let's go with Drew to the Denver Zoo. It's time for Knicks Picks.
He was an unlikely choice for a starring role on a television show because Nick the Sea Lion is naturally camera shy.
All this is new to Nick. You know, unlike Gidget, who does this for years, Nick has to get comfortable with the camera and somebody new and the footballs themselves. So it takes a lot of training to get him comfortable with some of this training that we're doing for this segment. Oh, he has made huge progress. You know, initially he wouldn't even come out of the water when he saw a camera. Just getting different people. He's very comfortable around his trainers, but you bring somebody in he doesn't know, and it's a little bit different story. So we had lots of staff members help us out, come out and help get him comfortable and ready for you to come up and do the segment.
Nick came to Colorado as a rescue from the Pacific Marine Mammal Center in Laguna Beach, California. He was an abandoned pup. Now, 3 years later, Nick's thriving at the Denver Zoo and seems ready to accept his new role as a celebrity. Hey, Nicky, that's what I'm talking about.
We hear about this segment year-round. I mean, it'll be the middle of summer when everybody wants to know who Gidget is, and I think we'll have the same response with Nick. They always want to know, especially on Saturdays and Sundays, who picked the winner of that week's game.
Okay, Gidget. After nearly a decade of predicting the outcome of every Broncos football game, the wildly popular Gidget the Sea Lion was forced into retirement due to arthritis and loss of vision.
Gidget is doing great. She's still doing the demonstrations. I think she's enjoying letting this rookie have his chance at it, but she's ready and willing anytime we need her to. She did enjoy doing it, but it's Nick's turn.
She could come out of retirement in the case of an injury or an illness.
She could.
Gidget is considered extremely friendly and lovable. While Nick might be a little tougher to build a relationship with. How long will it take before Nick is willing and able to give me a kiss or a high five like Gidget did?
We're getting there. We're getting there. It'll probably be a high five first. You know, it takes him a little bit more time to warm up, but we're getting there. He's at least letting you get that close to him, and hopefully next season we'll have something ready.
Okay, Nick, I am so excited to start this new segment with you. Are you ready? Your first pick ever is a big one. Monday Night Football, the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders. Who's it going to be, Nick? Oh, Nick, you are off to a good start. The Broncos. Way to go, Nick. Nick is extremely cute right now. Emphasis on right now. He's 5 feet long and 250 pounds. In the next 4 years, he will grow to 7 feet and up to 800 pounds.